Good night and welcome to Season 1, Episode 2 of Cut Deep. I'm Cindy Roseanne Jones, your host. Thank you to everyone that took the time to tune in to our season premiere last week. I appreciate all of you. For those of you tuning in for the first time, welcome. Most of you may know me from my Facebook platform. I thought it important to transition and to add to my Facebook reach, to extend my platform and to be able to reach and share more with you, my listening audience. The concept of Cut Deep was developed about a year ago with a focus on encouraging the wider public to think more in depth on issues that plague us, encouraging persons to have a voice and to use that voice to invoke change. Cut Deep is an interactive platform, cutting through the noise and political rhetoric. It is raw, uncut, challenging you to think critically. What do the issues mean for us? What part do we play? It's a platform that will move the Virgin Islands toward unified, integrated success. Cut Deep Season 1 will be featured on 284 on Tuesdays from 8 to 9 p.m. We will take a short break and be right back to kick off the show for tonight.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Father Jesus, that line here long like church service.
Alright, do enjoy the rest of it then. Next customer line, please. Wait, hold on a second.
Yes, Sonny boy, come, yes, Sonny.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sonny boy. Hold on there. You must have cut front of people.
It's okay. I'll take care of it.
What? No man to take care of me.
How may I assist you?
Yes.
You want top of power?
You want top of power?
Join the prepaid party with CCT and enjoy more affordable data plans, more top-up promotions, more savings with hero bundles, and more value for your money each and every Tuesday with Top Up Turn Up Tuesday. Visit a CCT store today or anywhere CCT Top Up is sold and top up your phone.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You want top of power?
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we're about to start Episode 2 of Cut Deep. Tonight, we will be discussing the scooter curfew implemented by the government last week. These amendments brought much frustration, but also placed a lot on the table for discussion. Tonight, we want to make use of this platform to shed light on this issue and to possibly charter a way forward. We have invited a slew of guests that will bring light from their various positions and perspectives. As mentioned, this amendment has brought a lot of debate across the territory, either for or against. We are not necessarily here tonight to talk for or against, but more so what led to this amendment and what can be done to create a less hostile environment for motorists, scooter riders, and residents. My initial response, and I stand by it, is that the amendment is discriminatory from any angle we decide to look at it. However, this position does not give a pass to illegal activity or our roadways or in any way support irresponsible behavior. We will take a short break, and when we return, we will be speaking with Chief Inspector Dariel Robinson of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force.
Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production.
Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 2 of Cut Deep. If you're just tuning in, if you're just joining us tonight, we will be discussing the amendment made to the legislation affecting scooter riders made this week by the government in Cabinet. We welcome our first guest for tonight, Chief Inspector Dariel Robinson of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force.
Good evening.
Inspector Robinson, thank you for being here.
It's a pleasure.
There are a few things bothering the public as it relates to the amendment that was made. But before we jump into it, I want you to just tell us a bit about who you are and your position within the police force.
Okay, my name is Dar Robinson. I'm actually second IC in operations, responsible for court, marine, ARV, RPU, which is road policing. That's it.
Okay. Inspector, for clarity, can you explain to us the amendment that was made and what is the actual legislation that was amended?
Okay. The regulation that was made was actually an amendment to the Road Traffic Act, CAP 218, Section 56, where the government made a regulation to ban motor scooters from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m. with the exemption to essential workers, custom officers, immigration officers, and people to and from work.
Okay. So it is actually a ban and not a curfew.
It's not a curfew, it's actually an amendment to the regulations.
Okay, so this doesn't fall under the curfew law.
No, it don't. It
It falls under the...
Road Traffic Act.
Okay. Why was the amendment made, in your estimation?
Okay. In my opinion, the government probably was looking at the residential complaints where you have the scooters between 9 and 1 a.m. disturbing the residents. They can't sleep. We had numerous complaints. We also have a number of complaints where scooters were used in illegal activities, firearm, robberies, drugs. We also have the problem with scooters. They're not licensed, they're not insured. And finally is the safety of the scooter riders. If you realize the last 3 fatal accidents that we had, 2 out of the 3 occurred during the nighttime. If you go further back to October, it would be 3 out of 4.
Okay. These are the actual accidents.
Fatal accidents.
Okay.
If you go into accident with injuries, you'll find it's a greater percentage of accident with injuries with scooter riders in the night than the daytime.
Okay. So this actual amendment, it didn't necessarily have anything to do with the curfew or what we're experiencing with COVID. Was there a rise in crime during the curfew hours?
Yes, it has a little bit to do with curfew. Actually, we have intelligence, which I can't discuss,
That's fine.
which relates to scooters.
Okay.
So that's one of the main reasons that the ban was actually put in place.
Okay. Okay. We are aware as a community of the many challenges facing law enforcement and the management of scooter riders. Okay, so we see the headlines constantly. You've talked about some just now. What are some of the type of reports received from the public as it relates to scooters on our roadways, besides the noise complaints?
The way they ride the scooters on the road, they have no regard for the laws that relates to motor vehicles. You find them riding in and out of traffic. They come up at a stoplight. They don't care whether it's green, red, or yellow. They just go.
Do you actually ever receive reports, complaints or reports from actual scooter riders as to the behavior of motorists as well on the roadways?
No, I haven't.
So you've never received a complaint from a scooter on, say, the aggressive behavior of maybe a motorist?
No, I haven't.
You don't receive those types of complaints? Okay. Let's talk about, I want to share, I moved home about 5 years ago. And like I said, we're not here to discuss for or against as it relates to this amendment, because I'm sure there are reasons why this decision was made. But I've observed that there's a lot of aggressive behavior towards our scooter riders. on the road. It seemed like it has come to a head. I don't know. Like I said, I've moved home about 5 years ago, so maybe it has come to a head where the motorists are intolerable of the scooter riders for whatever reason. And I've seen aggression to the point where they probably would run them over and just keep going. They just, a matter of fact, I find that our motorists are not tolerable, and they're not tolerable of anybody on the roads besides cars. First of all, I think even on your 2 feet, they would run you over if they thought you were in their space. They consider this their space. So I find they're intolerable of scooters, they're intolerable of cyclists, they're intolerable of everybody, okay? So I've observed that in coming home. I've also observed the behavior of some police officers as it relates to the scooter riders. Again, there must have been a situation that has brought it to this head. I was at the police station maybe last week. No, I wasn't being arrested or anything. But I was at the police station last week. I was there to pick up a report on one of the shows that I'm going to be doing. And when I was finished, I was outside and I was having conversation with some of the police officers and other people that were there. And we heard this loud bang. And a scooter, a truck had collided with a scooter. I don't know who was in the right or the wrong, but the behavior of the officers in observing that was shocking for me. I realized like they hung around. They were like, oh yeah, another one. I mean, they weren't even bothered to see if a life was lost. They just couldn't be bothered with what had happened there. So what I want to find out is what can be done to try to create a better relationship between the scooter riders, motorists, and say the police officers, and probably affecting their job.
I think the first thing we need to look at is scooter riders. They just go and get a permit and they're on the road until they're ready to go and do their license. I think what we need to do is to move away from that. We need to have, just like we go to get a
So you
driver's
can
license.
actually have a permit.
Yes.
That's for learning to ride, okay.
Right. We need to do like the vehicles. Before you get behind a vehicle, you have a tutor that actually teach you the rules of the road, and they take you on the road, tell you the do's and the don'ts. But scooter riders, they don't have that. So we need to create a driving school that would teach the scooter riders the rules of the road. We also need to look at the penalties that are associated with the offense committed by the scooters. The helmet, without the helmet, is only $50. They can pay that with ease, so they don't really care.
What are some of the frustrations, though, that would hinder you from doing your job?
I think the biggest frustration is that we can't chase, or we can't. We are advised not to. The main fact is that if we chase a scooter and it crash, a life we might lose a life, the officer might get sued. So we took the stance where we take photographs. If you know the person, you make a note of it, and we go to their homes and inform them, listen, we saw you riding XYZ, the time and place, and you reported for it. It's not working, but it's the best avenue that we have.
So when you do that, what happens?
They'll get a summons, and you tell them what time to appear for the magistrate court to answer the charge.
And do they do that?
Yes.
Like, does that work in any?
It works, but it's not, because
Effective.
half of the scooter riders are not known to the officers. And if we take the registration plate of the scooter and we go to DMV, it registers to someone else. And that scooter has been sold probably about 1 million times. And sometimes
And not transferred.
are not transferred. So we're at a loss.
Is there anything that the public, the scooter riders, even legislations or anything like that, is there anything that you feel would improve the situation?
Well, I always said the parents need to take a stand because we find 14-year-old, 15-year-old riding scooters. Someone have to buy the scooter. And the parents know the laws because majority of them drive vehicles. So if you're buying a bike for your child, make sure that they have a license. Insure the bike, make sure the bike is licensed to be on the road. And I think if we start at that end, we'll probably see a lot of difference.
Yeah. I totally understand what you're saying. I can say to you that on Saturday, I personally saw a 15-year-old on a motorbike. On a scooter, let me not say motorbike, on a scooter. He's 15, I know that. I know who he belongs to, a very prominent family. You'd expect better. Not only was he underage, which means he doesn't have a license to be on the road, he didn't have on a helmet. And he also had a passenger. So I agree with you when you say that the parents need to step up and take a more active role and be responsible. But is there a way, you would say from a law enforcement perspective, that you can actually force parents to be more responsible?
You know, what we're doing is, if we stop someone and it doesn't have a license, basically the parents actually buy the motorbike, so they are the owner of the motorbike. So if we charge the rider, then we charge the owner for permitting the person to ride a bike without a bike license or they will not cover insurance. So both parties are getting charged. But then on the other hand, when you make mention that you saw, what did you do? Did you inform the police?
Well, I'm not sure.
Did you speak to his
I'm not
parents?
sure. No. Well, I did speak to an initial parent.
Because-
However, I'm not sure what I can do because maybe you can tell me and tell the public if we see things like that, if it's worth reporting.
Yes, it's
secondhand information. Yes, I see it, but under the law, can I report it and
yes, you
he's
can.
prosecuted?
I'm not sure what the prosecution part, but
You know what I mean?
yes, the officer can actually go and speak to the parents, speak to the rider,
Okay.
and it's a possibility en route to that parents, they might meet the same person on the bike riding, so you can deal with them then and there.
Okay.
It doesn't make sense to turn a blind eye and it continues. It will
Yeah.
never stop.
Yeah. No, I definitely wasn't turning a blind eye, and I totally agree with you. I think we should all be responsible for each other,
For each other.
basically. Before you go, the Noise Abatement Act has been thrown into the conversation quite a bit. Can you talk to us about actually what the Noise Abatement Act is and if it has any teeth in terms of the noise with the scooters or even the trucks or the speakers in the cars?
Yes, the Noise Abatement Act is there, but the problem with that is that we need a decimeter to actually record the level of noise. And without that, it doesn't even make sense to try to tackle it from that avenue.
Okay, so we have an idea of the noise level that we're trying to avoid if we get a decimeter?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Inspector Robinson, thank you again for joining us. It was a pleasure to have you and to have you share from your side how we can do, what we can do to help curb this issue that we're dealing with. We will take a short word from our sponsors and we'll be right back.
Eco? 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 Everyone is speaking about eco-friendly products. We wanted to take the time to introduce the Eco Island brand. Eco Island is a brand dedicated to providing you with a reliable and cost-effective solution. Eco-friendly products for your restaurant, hotel, bar, office, and home. With takeaway trays, bags, cups, paper straws, cutlery, and cleaners. For more information, follow us at Eco Island 100.
Welcome back to Season 1, Episode 2 of Cut Deep. If you're just joining us, we're discussing the scooter curfew implemented by the government last week. These amendments brought much frustration, but also placed a lot on the table for discussion. Tonight, we want to make use of this platform to shed light on the issue. So this evening, we have Don Carell Leonard with us. Don, thank you for being here. We want to give you a moment to introduce yourself to the listening public.
Okay. Well, as you said, you gave me my whole name. My name is Don Leonard. I go by Don Leonard now. But I am an advocate, I would say, for motorcyclists, but for them doing it in a safe manner. So I'm not here in any official capacity, obviously, just to lend my voice to the discussion.
Okay. What are your thoughts on the amendment, and what do you think got us here?
Well, I think it's a number of issues, Cindy. I think when I heard that there was the curfew, or I just learned it's a ban, actually. Right. I thought that many things brought us here. One being the illegal riders. You know, we have scooter riders who are riding without the proper licensing, without the proper gear, and they're making their mufflers really loud. So, in my estimation, I thought that those are some of the issues that might have brought us to this ban. But I also was hopeful when I heard of the ban, because I also thought that it would open discussion to the issues. And, the government has talked about ramping up the size bikes, making bigger bikes legal.
Yeah.
And that's still a little ways off, but I thought that, trying to be positive,
Right.
I thought that this would steer the conversation in that direction, because there needs to have a conversation. So this is good that we're doing it here already.
Yeah. Do you see any negatives coming out of the ban?
Yes,
Oh,
of course, of course.
Amendment.
Of course. I mean, I know you mentioned that that you feel that it's discriminatory.
Right.
And I could see how some persons might feel that way, because, they're legitimate business people, they're legal bike riders who abide by the laws, the rules of the law, etc. So those are some of the negatives. Riding bikes have become a normal way of transportation for a lot of people.
Yeah.
A legitimate way to transport. But we can't negate the fact that in recent times, they have become sort of a nuisance. And we need to, the government,
Yeah.
we citizens, we all do.
Correct.
We need to see how we can bring solutions to that, so that, it can be done safely. Because on the other side of the coin, Cindy, we have citizens in their homes, coming home from a hard day's work, relaxing, and want to just relax. Not hearing, these loud motorcycles, illegal, some of them, and riding, just skylacking, as we would say,
Yeah,
having fun as
young
young people.
Yeah.
And, we don't want to take away from that completely, but we need to find a balance. We need to find a balance.
Yeah. You've touched a lot on the legalities of being on the road. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about today was the safety campaign that you initially started. I don't think you put a full thing out there, but you had something going, talking about wearing gear and just being safe on the road.
Right.
If you want to talk to us about that.
Well, Cindy, my background is in safety. Actually the health and safety coordinator with government. But outside of that official designation, as a mother, it pains me to see our young men dying on the road.
Yes.
Where I come from, I think all accidents are avoidable. We can get that done through training, through the regulations and the laws, but everybody has to be compliant. Everybody has to be in line with what will help keep us safe. And so I don't remember which accident it was actually, because I think we had a few recently, but this was a fatal accident.
Yeah.
And it just pained me as a mother, and I said,
Yeah.
how can I lend a voice to what's going on? I've taught some of these guys, I know there are young ladies that ride as well, but I just wanted to lend my voice to say, we could do this in a safer way. Our young men could go out there, they could ride, they could have fun, but we want them to come home.
Yeah. I totally agree with you as a mother, and I'll tell you that I have a 15-year-old son, and he's totally obsessed with bikes. Now, I love bikes myself. I intend to get one for myself. So when you see me out there on the road with my bike, don't be like, Cindy, yeah, I'm really into bikes. But he asked me for a bike, and it's an ongoing discussion. However, the last accident that we had where that young man in March ended up under a truck that took everything out of me. And I didn't even wait until I reached home. I sent him a message and I said, "You're not going to have a bike."
Yeah.
And
I don't
he
know.
was like, "Why?" I said, "Hugh Anthony, I don't know what I would do with myself if you ended up in that situation or you didn't come home. You know." And I reached out to this friend of mine. He's going to be on this show tonight, Shane Winter. He's a veteran in this. And I was speaking to him about the situation, and he said, "Cindy, I have the same thing going on. Lots of moms are talking to me. Give him to me. Let me train him, and then
There you
we'll
go.
see by the time he makes his 16th birthday if he should have a bike or not."
Right.
So those are the things. Yes, you feel just horrible with our young people
Yeah.
just dying, and it's rapid.
Yeah.
It's like I think we've had three or
Three.
four for the year.
Yeah, I think the officer said 3.
And to me, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And I'm glad you took that road with your son, because I don't believe that not allowing them to do it is the answer.
Right.
You know, they'll never know the pain a mother would feel, you know. And while I have not had the experience personally, I feel the pain as a mother, because
Yeah.
I can, you know. But I'm glad of the road that you took, because I have how old is he, 12? I think he's 12. Yeah, he's
thinks
12, yeah. And he's like, "Mommy, when you buy me my bike?" I said, "Do you have a license? Are you old enough to ride?" You know, and so we need to start the dialogue with them now about safety,
Exactly.
about the importance of it, etc.
Yeah, I totally agree. What would you like to see come out of this generally with bikes and road usage as well? Because we have quite a few motorists that just, you know, I know bikes are the nuisance, but you have quite a few
Yes,
motorists that
and-
just do not respect the road.
And yes, in general, we would have some of that. You know, you'll have the good and the bad mixed all together. And I heard you mention about the motorist intolerance for motorcyclists. And we can see where that came from. But that dialogue needs to happen as well.
It needs to
because, yes, because we share the roadway. And yesterday it was somebody's son. Today it might be, you know, somebody closer to home. We never know. But we have the roads, and the bikers, you know, are free to ride,
Yeah.
but just under the parameters of the law, making it legal, safely, wear your helmet, wear your gears. I think the gears are so cool. And see, I like bikes too,
agree.
so when you see me with my bike, you know, I can
We'll
get
take a
shamed
standard
too.
ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's great. Okay, Don, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to take a break. I don't want you to leave. I think I'm going to bring you back on the set with Shane. I want to have some dialogue going on there. So give us a few minutes and we'll be right back with the continuation of the show.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works. Some claim that the age of a true gentleman is far behind us, but here at 284 Media, we disagree. He may appear in different guises today, but the values and ideals that make him a gent still stand. 284 Media proudly presents its newest talk show, The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, with yours truly, Ron Grant. A show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. Don't worry, it's not all about suits and bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a 284 Media production.
We have two amazing young men joining us this evening. I am excited to have them and to be able to share this platform with our young people. We're back with season 1, episode 2. If you're just joining us, we're discussing the amendments made in Cabinet last week as it relates to scooters on our roadways. I am delighted to introduce our next two guests. They are young, hardworking entrepreneurs in their own right and a positive influence on their peers. Cordell Richards and Anthony Dowie, affectionately known as Fruit. Guys, welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you. You can smile. Okay, so Why don't you guys tell us about yourselves really quickly? I'll start with you, Cordell.
Well, my name is Cardell. I've been doing delivery services for about 4 years now. I have my little bike store going on for about 5 years now, which his brother used to be my mechanic. But he
Okay.
passed away 2 years ago.
Okay.
Well, I ain't gonna lie.
You also have your candy store.
Yeah, I have my candy
which a lot of
businesses
young
going on and
people are
stuff. Yeah. I have my
familiar
food
with.
messenger service going on and stuff also. Well, during COVID-19, everybody was calling me about delivery service and thing, but I wasn't like partaking in the crowd and them stuff. You check, but
Okay.
as everything clear up and catch back, and I start to like get back into the delivery service and stuff.
And you were kind of hit with this.
And then I was hit with a ban on motorbikes and stuff
Yeah.
from 5 to 5,
Yeah.
which my business is a popular business. 'Cause I used to do delivery service with Kerry Farrington, fire guy,
Okay.
Special K. Yeah, so like everybody know my delivery service and what's not.
And they're familiar with your
Yeah, they're
business.
familiar with my business and thing.
Okay. Do you prefer if I call you Fruit or Anthony?
Fruit.
Fruit. Tell me about yourself. Where did you get that name, by the way?
My brother named Passion, so everybody just that call me
Call you
Fruit.
Fruit?
Yeah, so Passion Fruit.
That's
man.
kind of the way our people operate.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. I do work TMM across by Crandall side,
Okay.
doing cleaning, fixing engine and stuff. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. When the news of the amendment came out, what was your first reaction? Fruit.
Me?
Yeah. What was your first reaction when it came out?
I was like, they really getting banned bike for like 5 to 5. It don't really make no sense to me, because if the noise is the problem, you could tell people put on a silent pipe and stuff, you know.
Do you think that's an option that the government could have put on the table and
Or give a
the
ticket.
guys would have responded to?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, just put on a silent pipe and let people ride the bike in the night.
If not,
So are you saying that the noise is deliberate?
Certain, like, I got some pipe are really loud, you know.
What is the reason that you think that happens? Like, why would I want, my pipe to be loud? What's the reason?
What the reason? Some certain people that ride, put on low more because it'll make the bike breathe better.
Is that the thing that they talk about with going up the hill?
better
Yeah.
performance.
Okay. Is that real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a 21-year-old nephew. I think he's 21. And I asked him about it because he has a bike too. And he said that he does it because the noise alerts vehicles to say that he's coming because his horn doesn't make enough noise. That's what he said,
okay.
especially
Yeah.
for the trucks. I'm not sure.
Makes sense.
I guess we all could agree there are reasons that you guys do what you do, and I guess bringing the government to the table with you guys would kind of help too, for them to understand when they're kind of creating legislation or why you guys are doing what you're doing. Cordell, what did it mean for your delivery business when the curfew was implemented? Like, do you do a lot of deliveries in the evening or?
Well, back in like 2017, I used to do a lot of night runs, night deliveries for Shane and Smacky and them guys.
Okay.
I used to go all up by Shane House and thing, till Long Trench.
Okay. Do you guys agree with the reasoning behind the government's decision in any way?
Well, to me, if they have a low pipe and then listening to the rules, wherever you get them a ticket or what's not.
So you think there were other avenues that the government could have looked at instead of just putting on the ban?
Yeah, because they could have at least said something from like, say some days before, weeks before, because people like me have my business and thing, my business on pause when certain time come.
And then everybody that drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain people just have a bike alone.
We totally
But that's
agree
what they
that
could afford.
it is, yeah. There is clear hostility between scooter riders and motorists, the general public. What are your feelings on this as young men?
Well, as as you said earlier, some of the posters in cars, they don't feel like they could run you over and thing. You could be taking your time cruising, them blowing at you and cussing and what's not. So that's when the guys in the start go reckless and ride how they want and feel.
So it's kind of like a rebellious thing.
It's a hate thing to me, if you ask me.
Once you're riding bike, everybody think you're a bad person.
You got your helmet, everything.
You could have on your helmet, they ain't even watching that. They don't really care.
And as you say earlier with the accident by the police station, how the officers went on, that's how they perform in person. To be honest, I'd be right there witnessing some of those accidents.
But how does that make you guys feel?
Accidents that happen, you know. You never know when they can happen.
So they make me feel bad.
So if the inspector was here just now, but we're on, I'm giving you guys this platform. If you had to say something to law enforcement as young guys, what would that be? In terms of the way you're handled and perceived, or maybe a better working relationship between the scooter riders and law enforcement.
Well, as you say, you see 14-year-olds and thing on scooters, I always seen them. They ain't wearing no helmet, they just crosswalk, they just zoom in cross, and especially by Clovers,
Yeah.
some of them just zoom in. They ain't stopping to let the people in pass and thing, and that gave me a bad name, cause I just sell scooter parts and what's not. Cause I got many different businesses going on.
Okay, while I'm talking to you guys, I'm actually thinking out loud. And I feel that everybody probably needs to figure out a way around the whole situation as it relates to the issue with the scooters. If you guys had to make an appeal, say, to the general public, say to the police, or even to your peers,
Well,
like what would that be? In terms of making the situation better, like
Well,
what could you do? What could you say to your peers to make them more responsible? Like you guys
I
are
would just
really-
tell them, be more safe, right? Safe.
Well, to me, as I said, it starts with the parents. Because you can't have a 14-year-old female or male coming home late nights on a scooter, loud pipe, no license, nothing.
Point taken.
They don't have no license, nothing. Because them younger heads right now is what causing all this conflict, to be honest with me. Because I've been riding the thing here officially over 10 plus years.
And once I ride in a bike, I got to think about my mother, my father, my son, my sisters, my girl, my nephews, everybody I to think about. Once
you get
I
on
ride
that
in my bike, yep. I don't just ride a bike. I know ain't only me to be on the road. They have other people who's on the road. So I always got that in my mind, ain't only me on the road.
So here's the thing.
Very
So I look at the two of you and I hear you speak. And I kind of feel, well, I've come to understand that you guys are influential within your peers. So where do you think the fallout is in terms of them actually taking your advice? In your best response. Do you think you need help in reaching your peers? Maybe if some people can come to the table to work with you, help you figure it out. Maybe a campaign.
Well, yeah. But to me, we ain't gonna, well, Tatola, most of the youngsters like to do stunts and involved in racing and stuff.
We ain't
And
really got much
we don't have nowhere to go
to do them
to
stunts
do them
and
stuff.
stuff.
Because me, I either sell scooter parts and I either build engines and what's not. And I into racing bikes. You check? So most of the time I go to Puerto Rico and so to see what's going on with the outside world than being here. So
An outlet.
I would, yeah,
So you could.
all I asking for, all they got to build some place for we to go and have we fun on Sundays because we have nothing here we have nothing here to do
Ain't got nothing
on
to do
Sundays
at all.
and what's not. So, all I asking for is just a track or something for we to have way fun, have way bikes, do what we want. 'Cause he's a wheelie king.
So do you think that if you had that outlet, it would be easier? It wouldn't so much end up on the roadways
Yeah,
with the
it-
Yeah, it would be
performance
easy
and
because
the
we would go
noise
straight up there and do we stunts and stuff. We ain't
It
have
would have
nowhere
been,
to
it
do
would
no
have been
stunt.
less discrimination and stuff to me.
Yeah.
And when people see me like do my stunt, them think I don't know what I'm doing, but
They
I
watch
just
it, he's
wheeling my
small and-
bike.
'cause he looks
I
so
know what I'm
tiny,
doing.
check.
Once I wheeling my bike, I know what I am doing. I ain't
Yes.
just wheeling my bike.
Yeah. And
know?
while we're on that, and before we go to a break, we can talk about that really quickly. There was a blow up on social media where
last week.
a video came on social media with you, and there was blowback because, I mean, everybody came to your defense because apparently you're one of the guys that, you know, and there's the video now, the photo. You're one of the guys that, you know, you wear your gear, you believe in
Yeah.
the whole safety of everything. And so you were quickly stereotyped, demonized, I call it, by somebody. And I don't want to give that person a platform. I want to give you a platform. I want to know how you felt coming under attack, I would say, kind of by the community after you have been doing everything right.
Yeah.
You were still stereotyped. Like, how did that make you feel?
I really didn't like how he posed about me. He posed about me like I did him something. Like calling me Jack and the A word. Everybody see what it was. Calling up my parents, them, you know. And then saying he was talking about if anything happened to me, don't ask me for no money.
Don't go for it.
Cause he ain't gonna give nobody nothing, you know. I on this all so long. How can nothing happen to me? I never ask you for money and I will never ask him. You know, and the thing is, right, in that video, as you see my helmet was on. He never said nothing about no helmet. Not
Yeah,
a
he ain't said
thing he said
bike
about no
license,
helmet.
insure everything.
Nothing. And that video, you could say that video like a year old.
Yeah, last
He
week.
could have posted it when he had done videotape it, but he chose to post it when the government said ban bikes. Like he really wanted ban.
Right.
You know?
Discrimination.
Cause that video old, you can watch the bike got black seat, silent pipe mirrors. If you go downstairs and see my bike, way different.
Totally different. Okay. So moving forward, what would you want from the public in terms of tolerance for you?
For
I mean,
me?
you do what you have to do
Me, okay, no, right?
legally as a scooter rider.
Yeah, I have
so
my
that
scooter
must have
license
hurt
everything.
you when he did that like that and he just called
Yeah,
you.
man, I don't even know him, he don't know me, and he just calling me all kind of names. You know, he could have come to me better, you know? Could have come to me way different. I would respect you if he had come to me better, like, young man, be careful. I know you're doing your thing, you know, but just be
Right.
careful. I know you're going to your helmet and thing, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Go ahead.
yeah, I see you display Kishan a few seconds ago. That was like my right hand when it comes to delivery service. If I can't get a job done, I will call him. The week before he passed away, I was home sick for a whole week. Every morning I call this guy. He bring my breakfast, everything. As the accident happened, everybody will call him my phone because they say a scooter guy who owns his own business and thing.
So they thought it was you.
They thought it was me. Everybody, all in law firms and every place. 'Cause I used to work. My recent workplace was for Thornton Smith, Sigaway, law firm. I used to
I'm familiar.
yeah, I used to drop documents for him upstairs there in the
Yeah.
with the Supreme Court and what's not. But when I heard the news about him, he called me and tell me about it, but I couldn't believe it. Me, up to this day, me watch a picture, nothing of the accident.
It must be really painful for you guys to continue.
And when I go through my phone, I find
burying
him
your
pictures
friends.
and videos and things like, whoa, that
That's
really
hurtful.
happened?
Yeah. I want to, again, with Shane, he's going to be a guest tonight. Dawn was just on, I think, with her, and maybe getting you guys together, something can happen in terms of, you know, finding an effective way for you guys to reach your friends.
Well,
I mean, it's kind of hard seeing that they bury their friends and, you know,
Yeah.
they're still kind of
Well, I can be.
But you see me, I don't talk to everybody, you know, but it's up to them to wear them helmet, them suit. I
Up
can't
to them
tell
to
them what to
listen.
do.
We
So
can't-
if you could buy a bike for like 250, I mean like 2,500, you can insure your bike, it costs like 280. To
Do you
insure
think
and license your bike.
increased ticketing prices and stuff would be, would that be effective? Like the increase on, say if you got a ticket for riding without your helmet. Would that be effective?
Somewhat, yeah.
Believe so, you know.
Yeah. I
How
was-
much
I-
for
I was
a ticket if you ain't wearing a helmet? $50?
$50 thing.
Well, I mean, a helmet is $50. So if
I say
$50
$50 for the
so
helmet,
if
go and buy the
$50
ticket.
is for, I
helmet.
don't see how that can be a deterrent, but I want to thank you guys for
But-
coming on.
Well, me and he we could say we know Shane from we is little jits growing up.
Yeah.
Because we grew up through Lower State from Dungot and we watch he went through some messed up stuff on bikes. And he's still here to talk to me about it and thing. But he's like my second father. Check out one of his son who died. That was my right hand. We graduate everything together. He and
Let me
Brandon.
talk about the band now. You see, like when night time come, I like to ride when night come. You know, sometimes I have a lot in my mind. I just want to start my bike and
go clear
just
my
go
mind.
clear my mind and thing. You know, I don't always do it. Always do that there. So I feel away. I can't ride my bike in the night. I have my license, my bike license and insurance. I can't ride my bike.
Yeah.
You know.
Work hard
Now
all
if I
day.
only had my bike alone, I have a vehicle too. But now if I only have my bike, I want to go buy a little pantry 8 o'clock.
You be stuck.
I gotta go get catch a ride. And certain people ain't gonna want to stop for you because them
Yeah.
still scared of the coronavirus.
Correct. I don't pick up anybody. I don't
And
pick up
I
anybody.
don't drive
at
too,
all.
and sometimes if I see somebody I know, I'd be scared. I'd be like, oh, I got a son now, I feel,
Yeah.
you know?
Correct.
That,
Yeah, man,
that was one
nobody
of my
can stop.
main reason I went doing messenger service during quarantine.
Because you weren't sure.
I have some young nieces and nephew home, and I went trying to go and mix with everybody and passing, collecting money here and there. 'Cause I don't know where who and who to be
Right.
through and around.
Correct.
And
That's
it's-
why it's even a more difficult time to put the ban on because you don't. It's not easy to catch a ride. People aren't picking up people. And
Nobody
so,
picking up nobody.
you know, if you had to say something to the minister, or let me make this a better question, would it be beneficial or important for you if the minister engaged you, or if he came to have a sit down with you guys, the scooter riders?
For the riders.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk to him?
Yeah, we could talk to
Yeah,
him. Yeah, we would love to talk to him.
Okay. You want to make an appeal to him
Sure.
Yeah.
before we go to a break? Talk to him. Talk in the camera and tell him to
Talk to him.
talk to him. Tell the minister exactly what you would like from him.
If the noise is the problem, you could just tell people just put on a silent pipe, you know, and just put on a silent pipe, that's all, because that's what people are complaining about, the noise alone, that's all.
Well, and some of them say reckless riding.
Some of
But
them.
my advice is, I just want everybody to do the right thing. I get a bike, ain't hard to go and do your license. Get a permit, and as I think Robinson said earlier, ain't like we doing all bike license on the road. We didn't ride at DMV. Ain't nothing hard. It's easy. You go DMV, do your figure 8. You go through the cones, stop in the box. Easy like that. Because 2 months ago, 3 months ago, one of my friends, Ashimba, he had he was giving away a bike license by the cruise space side for the biker run. It was easier than going DMV if you ask me. Because same day you come, same day you do it, you get a license the same day.
So that was a
But
great push.
It was a good turnout
Okay.
this year than the other year before. Because a lot of youngsters come out and get their license and no, they happy with it
And they're legal.
and they're legal.
Yeah. Honorable Kai Reimer, the minister for this subject, these young guys would love to have an audience with you. So if you can get in touch with them, they'll be happy to sit down and discuss this issue and give their feedback. I mean, they're the ones that are feeling it most. So give them your ear. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Are you a business owner? Business owners are very busy thinking on ways to grow. Wouldn't you like a vendor that makes life easier? P3 Paper Plastic Products offers 24-hour WhatsApp ordering. So, whether you're on vacation, at a sporting event, or, I don't know, forgot, P3 Paper Plastic Products has got you covered with great prices, better service.
And we're back to close off tonight's episode of Cut Deep. We are discussing the controversial curfew placed on scooters by Cabinet last week. Shane Winter is here to be a part of the show tonight. We want to welcome him. Shane, I consider you and Chinaman the godfathers of bikes in the BVI. It started way back in that day. I'm afraid to say that, but I already gave my age last week anyway, so everybody knows my age. But it started way back then with Sinbad and, you know, all these guys. And there was a thrill for us, even, you know, the bystanders, there was a thrill for us. But I consider you guys the godfathers of this thing. I realize in talking to the community of young people that they actually really look up to you and so forth. And so what I want to do is just give you a moment for you to introduce yourself to the listening public. You can give us a brief history on back then too, if you wish.
Yes, my name is Shane Winter. I'm actually a local businessman, and I've been around motorcycles from the age of nothing. 10 years old, when everybody was playing basketball, I was home twinkling and fixing some little old bike. Back then we didn't have the luxuries of access to motorcycles, so we would more have to be mechanically inclined and put one together and trial and error and so on and so forth. Of course, that was a time to where traffic wasn't as bad and, you know, the situations were a lot different back then. I grew up, I actually moved to St. Thomas because bikes here were at the time illegal.
Right.
But I had such a passion for it. I had, who I looked up to, which is my older cousin Sinbad, that, you know, the older generation might know. He lived in St. Thomas and he took me in. So I went to St. Thomas, and within my first year, people was paying me to race the bikes for them. So here's this little Tatola boy, just, you know, came to St. Thomas, and them times 17, 18 years old, and I'm like fast, rapidly climbing the ladder in the motorcycle wall, you know, stunts and drag racing, and St. Thomas had a racetrack actually, so, you know, they had a little facility. And ended up going to Puerto Rico on some great riding experiences, you know, Florida. You know, I've had invites in Florida. I've been from, you know, Orlando to Miami and first place on most street events. At one time, I think I had the top 10 fastest motorcycles in the world. You know, and I basically...
I'm impressed.
Yeah. So I basically left the BVI because of my passion for motorcycles.
Right.
Because I personally thought, and other people thought, that I had enough skill, that hair would just suppress that skill.
Yeah.
And that's the same way I look at, I never told your last guest too before, Fruit. A lot of people look at him, and even through the little, you know, social media, little thing that was going on, I pay attention. I try to stop where I see little bike gatherings and just lend a little air without being too, you know, over the top with it, and give my experience and a little advice. And I watch, I've been watching Fruit ride for a while, you know, looking at him or whatever the case may be, and he's actually really talented.
Yeah, I saw the video.
And I could remember a few years ago, a promoter brought this bike group in from America called the Rough Riders, and paid money and turned out a big crowd. And personally, I don't see any of them better than our local boys.
Yeah.
I don't see it. Or even if they're a little bit better, it's because we don't have facilities, we don't have the legal access to bigger bikes and so on and so forth. But we have a lot of talent. I was I fell through the cracks in the scrutiny, and I mean, I'm here today that I could share my experiences and give advice to our young people in this community. You know, I mean, some people are upset. This is a crazy topic because everybody has an opinion on it. Some people like, some people dislike, some people. But at the end of the day, it's a form, a mode of transportation. It's a mode of transportation. I ride a bike still. I'm a middle-aged man now. Of course, I don't ride the way I used to ride. The bones ain't as strong as they were.
Right.
But
I have seen you guys taking some licks on those roads.
Right. So I still use a bike as transportation. You know what I mean? And I love it. It's a freedom of expression, as Fruit said. Sometimes in the night when you get things in your mind, just going for a ride, you know, you get to chop things up in your head, and you know what I mean? It's a life.
Yeah, I totally agree. And while you're speaking on that, Don, I don't know if this has crossed your mind too, but I feel like you, back then, you left because there wasn't the facilities or, you know, the embracing of your talent at that time. And here we are. I'm gonna fast forward 20 plus years, 30 years. And these guys...
I'm just 30.
And these guys are facing the same thing you face, and the scrutiny is the same. We haven't grown, but what I want to touch on is the fact that back then, I just said to Don during the break that our parents, they weren't into that, right? That was demon work. Go to church, go to school, relax yourself, go get a degree, and that's it. But these guys have us, I think, and I think we've kind of failed them and we've kind of left them out there to battle it on their own when we can actually assist them in battling it. What do you guys think?
Well, to be honest with you, my parents didn't want me to ride bikes.
Right.
One of the first deadly motorcycle accidents happened in the BVI. My father was involved. Yeah, and another cousin of mine and so on and so forth. So I was forbidden to go near a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So I remember now as a young boy walking on my motorcycle through the bush. Walking on my motorcycle through the bush because I had a passion for it.
Yeah.
And
you can't kill
the
passion.
moment
You
you can't kill passion. That's
You
what you're
can't.
into. If you know you want to be a pilot and you gonna chase it. So walking on my little motorcycle, twinkling with it, trying to get it to go faster and so on and so forth. What I love, the passion I had for motorcycles was so great. I left my country. My beloved kind of trust me. I love Tatola more than anywhere in the world. And I have places to compare. I left the BVI because of my passion for motorcycles. I've seen a lot of things. We actually went, there's this prestigious competition in America. It's a worldwide competition, the motorcycle horsepower shootout. We went to that event in Daytona Beach, Florida, and I watched Sinbad, which is my older cousin, came first place.
Wow.
From the BVI. So that's another BVI lander that had a passion for motorcycles and left when the law was implemented back in the days for the CC limit. And he left as well.
Yeah.
And him and I, we met up and we went to this event and we won first place. You know what I mean? The little small island boys.
Yeah.
So I personally think the BVI have a knack for motos. I think we got the best. I mean, I don't want to be biased. I hope I don't offend anybody, but I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I think we have a knack for cars, boats. Don't even talk about the boat life. You know what I mean? The BVI is known. This is the plug.
That's all
Motorcycles, this is something that's, I believe, in our DNA.
Yeah.
We love it. Number one, we don't have the malls. We don't have nowhere for our younger folks to, you know, to go and conduct, you know, to spend the time, to enjoy themselves. I mean, listen, let's face it. You and I probably at the age right now where we could be comfortable to go home and put on some Netflix. Yeah. What are we selfish or
I'm
what?
not doing that though, but I'm not comfortable
I'm just saying.
So I feel the young people.
Right. So I'm just saying is that would be unfair for us to expect them knowing at their age we were out.
I agree. That's what I'm saying.
So
I
that's
feel
selfish.
like we haven't moved.
Yeah,
like
I think
we've
Exactly.
stayed stagnant, and we haven't we're not thinking about our young people and where they fit into this whatever we're building.
That's
right?
why I talked about the balance, you know.
Yeah.
And since I started my campaign, the safety campaign for motorcycles, I had some dialogue with different people just to hear how they feel. You
Yeah.
know, because I am not pretending like I am in the mix with these
Right.
motorcyclists. You know, I don't ride. I don't have a son that rides. I don't have
Yeah.
you know, but you know where I came from and, you know, my involvement. And somebody said to me, I said, what can we do? I said that they go out there popping wheelies. They're not wearing the helmets. What can we do? The person said to me, they need an outlet. And like a bulb went off in my head, you know, and I heard Fruit say it, you know, they need an outlet. You know, if we could provide something for them that's safe, because I believe it can be done safe. It's
Of
done
course.
all over the world.
Of course.
We can do it safe. We can train them up. We can get them the proper gear.
Yeah.
You know, we have Poker Run.
Yeah.
I just get scared about it, but you know,
Yeah.
you know, it's an outlet.
Accidents
it's
happen.
it's an outlet.
Avoiding
we
them
can
is-
avoid
Anything would
accidents.
happen.
We can avoid accidents. But so I'm just saying that, you know, I think we need to bring everybody to the table, all the stakeholders,
Yeah.
and talk about it.
Yeah.
We have young men who want to do the right thing.
Yeah.
You know, they want to do the right thing. And I think we can find the balance. I believe with the government saying that they're moving forward to bigger bikes, we have to pull these things in, but we have to be part of the dialogue. There must be a dialogue. We have
And
to have
that
a
is very
conversation.
important. That is very important. And I think while we were all sitting around just waiting to start, that came up, and my feedback was that the government brings financial services to the table for dialogue when they're going to create legislations that would affect them. I think the same thing needs to happen
Across the board.
industry.
Across the board,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah.
That makes a lot
You
of
can't
sense.
just come and think that you know what's going on and you're going to make a piece of legislation for me, and you've never even had a discussion. You don't know what I'm doing, what I need, or you don't have exposure to, we're all humans, we don't have exposure in everything. So talk to the people that are actually involved so that you can at least make effective legislation. Shane, where do you come down on this amendment?
Well, we live in a democratic society, and from the way that younger folks would look at this is almost, it seems to be a bullying situation, so to speak. Now, don't get me wrong, I ain't bashing anybody because our new government has inherited this situation. And I'm pretty sure our honorable minister, and a lot of people don't know, he loves bikes as well.
Yes.
He loves motorcycles, and I think he genuinely wants to pass the laws. But you know, as a government official,
He has
you have
to
to
be
please.
responsible.
You have to please a bunch of different people from different aspects, you know, I mean, platforms in life, and he has to make responsible decisions. And I'm pretty sure he must have the best interest as had being a bike enthusiast himself.
Right.
But as you made a good point before, let's discuss these things. You can't infringe them on people. For me now, that I have a delivery company as well. Cardell has a delivery company, and I always been proud of Cardell because him and my son was good friends. When he started his delivery company, if I needed a bottle of water, I'll hire him to bring it for me. You know, having one of them lazy weekends where you don't want to leave home. Plus, I love anybody that knows me, you know, I love to support local businesses. I love, you know what I mean? I like to
Absolutely.
see people doing things because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I into all kind of different businesses. So I kind of like the hustle, you know what I mean? And it affected, I look at Giorgio. I see Giorgio on his bike, on his scooter, doing his deliveries on his own. I kind of look at him and admire him because he seems to have a good grasp and control of a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You could tell he's experienced.
Yeah, but this is a real mode of transportation in Italy,
Right.
in Europe, and a whole bunch.
No,
yeah.
all over the
world.
Yeah.
No, I looking
They-
at it
yeah.
like in his business selling food or pizza, most of his orders would come when?
in the evening.
In the evening when people just reach home and they want to sit back and have a pizza.
Totally correct.
So now I looking at another businessman now being another business entity where we know we were just shut down for a while. Everybody's struggling to get a little businesses, keep them open. A lot of businesses gone, you know what I mean, down
There's
the
a
drain.
pylon. There's a
Right.
pylon.
So everybody now, and I really despise the whole concept of innocent suffer for guilty.
Me too.
Because for me now, if I share in a vehicle and my wife goes to work in the evening, I am basically stuck at home. because, you know, we had 2 vehicles at the time, but I'm having some issues with one. So I'm basically, my little motorbike, baby motorbike, is my transportation, plus it had to save, like, and I had to do my books. I save like $580 a month just owning that bike.
Wow.
No, that's basically like me calling the electricity corporation and I getting lifetime free electricity bill, lifetime free water bill. That's what that bike doing for me. Not to mention, I run a lot of errands. Sometimes people will see myself or one of my kids or myself and even my wife running to do a weave. Sometimes we got a school bag and just go on an adventure trip, go to supermarket, fill it up, take a ride and go home.
Yeah.
Right, I try to be responsible. You know, I mean, not saying that I'm holier than thou, because trust me, I have been in their position.
Yeah.
I have been rebellious. I have been, you know, riding recklessly. You know, I've been in that position so I could understand, you know, sometimes, you know what they're going through.
Right.
But still, look at me here now. I was in their position years ago where people were like, I'm sick of here. I tell you, look at what you're doing, and I got to talk to Sadie about here, and this and that. Right. But no, I survived it by whatever force that's out there, and I'm here right now, so I have a responsibility to share my experiences and give my, you know, insight on, you know, what's going on.
Certainly. Certainly. The minister has talked about this possibly being a catalyst for change. Like, how do you guys see that could happen? What legislations do you think or improvement on legislations? Because I'm one of those that say the BVI has every legislation that you can think about on the books. One of our biggest problems is enforcement.
Yes.
Okay? So what do you guys think can be amended or added to, you know?
I think the government said a couple things in terms of what they project would happen. Obviously, there needs to be some amendment to the legislation, but I think training must be part of it, driver's ed. That needs to be done in a different way. Yeah, and you will be a better person to speak to it. Driver's ed. But I really feel like bringing out the stakeholders, getting to understand before we get to that. And engaging persons who sell bikes, you know, who bring in bikes. All of those things need to be in the mix so that we can have a better outcome in the end, you know.
Yeah, that
will
be worth it.
Exactly. So I am optimistic. I am optimistic that this will bring some good changes because it has to happen if we're going to bring back the bigger bikes. It has to happen.
It has to happen.
It has to happen.
So...
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of people complain about noise pollution, which obviously is an issue. Okay, let's deal with one thing at a time. Noise pollution, actually, because we have a ban on bigger bikes, a smaller bike is actually more irritating to your ear because it's a 1-cylinder. So, and then people are putting these improvements through exhaust to create power. The CC limit that we have here, I can't go up steep hill coming from King Adam Bay with my wife on the back.
Right.
I'll be struggling. So you ended up putting on noise, unrestricted mufflers, which is loud of course, to get up the hill.
So that is actually
a modification.
It is a modification that in some cases, sorry to say, needed.
Okay.
Because it makes a big difference in performance. Because the bikes are ready with a piston this size, so you know,
and we live
struggling.
in a hilly place, mountainous, actually.
So a bigger bike, you won't have that problem. What I think personally, the government should look into, if one day we do get the ban lifted on the bigger bikes, have all the motorcycles come with factory exhaust. Factory exhaust, you can't hear it at all. Make sure you implement bans on mufflers. So you basically...
Say that recommendation again.
Right.
Because we have you at the table now, we're going to use
the ban on the motorcycles. And there's some things, some intricacies that you guys probably might not know. Do you know, despite of popular beliefs, a bigger motorcycle is actually way safer and way less susceptible to accident?
I read that just before I came here.
Well, you see, with me, I read it, I know it.
The 500cc is known to be safer, one of the safest bikes.
Well, there's two things that decide the safety on a motorcycle? Brakes, suspension. Because of those smaller bikes, how they're designed, their foot pegs and their body parts of the bikes, that if I am turning a corner, you need to have a percentage of degree of banking to get around a corner at a certain speed. It's actually a mathematical formula. Right. These scooters can only go this far. That means you have to go around a corner at a restricted speed. So if you going over the speed, which in every bike has, you know, variances in the speeds that it's capable of going around a corner. If you, at this degree angle, you can't get around a corner at 40 miles per hour. So I've seen a motorcycle accident where this guy hit the back of a truck and everybody had rumors about what a truck this and who hit who and no. I assess it because I try to don't be loud, but I like to look into everything with our young people because I got boys too.
Yeah.
And then not only that, no disrespect, but all of these men like my sons. I went to school with Food Father. Cordell is like that's my boy. You know what I mean? I support him. I let him and my son. So it's a community.
Right.
Right. And the inability to take that corner at a certain speed will cause you to drift, losing control.
Right.
A bigger bike is designed for a lower banking, the brakes is phenomenal, and the suspension is fully tunable for your weight. So they're actually safer, or more safe, if I'm corrected. Right. So you gotta look at situations like that people don't actually talk about.
Yeah.
A bigger bike is...
We tend to listen to noise, so, and I guess it kind of boils down to, and I'm gonna stay away from that, but it kind of boils down to, like you said, the politicians want to make everybody happy, but when you're gonna create legislation, you actually want to make decisions and legislations on facts, and not just because, a bigger bike, they're gonna kill themselves.
They get a concept wrong.
Yeah, that's
the concept
not a
is
reason to not...
I have a small bike right now. And the brakes, the braking system on it is so horrible. It is so horrible. So the first I said to myself, if I can continue riding this bike, I need to spend some money and modify the brakes on it.
Yeah.
I already modified the suspension. Now, people modify motors, not me. I ain't trying to go fast.
Yeah.
I want to be able to stop. Because the other day a car swung out on me and I had to, but it's my skills and experience, I use a transmission and both brakes and I get to stop. The average rider don't have that or might not have that.
Yeah.
So I saved my life and I went home and I like, wow, that was a close call.
Yeah.
And the motorists lock up brakes and then they speed off on me.
Yeah.
Up to now I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
I had a situation up to last night where a young person told me, they had they don't have a license, and a woman run him down. And when he started struggling to get up, she panicked and turned off. And that happened last night. So there's a lot of little intricacies in this situation to look at.
Yeah.
But I ask to be, government or the powers that be to be, open-minded, create dialogue.
And bring people like you to the table.
Right, of course. I'm in the middle of starting a rider education program. I don't know if the government will, support it. I'm pretty sure they would. And start a riding, especially targeting females that want to ride too.
Yeah.
A lot of females like yourself, Dawn, want to ride, and there's a few females that's been contacting me. And other than the legalities of it, the license and insurance and stuff, of course, and I can't fight against that because mine is licensed and insured. You gotta look at, other situations with it, like safety. There's some protocols to follow riding a motorcycle, because riding a motorcycle and trafficking a motorcycle, riding in traffic is two different things.
Yeah.
I could put my 10-year-old son to ride around on this island if every car were home.
Yeah.
Put him to do it in traffic.
Different scenario.
So totally
there's some things that you need to learn, some things that might save your life. Because I've seen a lot of serious situations.
Then that's where the school comes in.
Right.
Exactly. This has been a really great conversation, and we've got to wrap up now. Shane and Don, it was so lovely to have you. It was great having all our guests today. I think we've come off with a lot of information, and hopefully we can get to those that make the decisions and get them to the table with the stakeholders that matter, so we can have a positive outcome in 3 weeks or whatever will happen.
You see what
in
the
3
government
weeks
comes
or
up with.
after.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that they're working hard to trying to find some resolve. And the minister, in charge of this particular initiative or legislation, I think he has open ears. I would like him to sit down and talk to the younger folks that's actually dealing with it. You know what I mean? I would be more than happy to join in. And first of all, Cindy, let me thank you for, as the host of this show, touching topics that most other shows, try to run away from. And I also like to commend Fruit and Cardell as young people in this community that seems to, want to, play an active role in, getting things done the right way. You know what I mean? And, even though Fruit was, going through some little social media stuff here the other day, put them stuff behind.
Yeah.
People entitled to their opinion, and let's not make it a situation that we could control.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I want to commend those two young brothers for being here, and thank you, Cindy, for taking the initiative with your show to touch this topic.
Thank you, and you're both.
Thank you too. Yeah, I think the minister is having a forum on Facebook. It's coming up, I think tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's good. I think it's going to be on Facebook. I think we all should tune in and continue to lend our voices.
Okay. Hopefully that information will come out to us and we'll be able to tune in. There is an issue that peeves me, and that is the continuous demonizing of our children. The stereotyping placed on them, determining their future before they even have the opportunity to make a single mistake. I find us hypocritical because we've all been there. A lot of us aren't far removed from our young people, but we feel empowered to constantly criticize them. Bear in mind that these children aren't raising themselves. They didn't ask to be here. They are us. They are a reflection of us. Their failure is our failure. Contrary to popular opinion, their only value is not to cast a vote. They are indeed a part of this society and should be treated as such. They should be the foundation of all of our planning. After all, we are moving on and they are moving up. The success of the BVI is dependent on all of us, from the smallest child to our most senior resident. Let us try to be more understanding than judgmental with our youth, more selfless, less hostility, and more interaction. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and see you next week for a whole new episode.